Hey guys, how you doing? It's Mr. Dimitri. Just wanted to take a minute to make a quick video about the upcoming week, what you're going to be doing in AP World History now that we're post-exam in class. So first and foremost, let me wish you guys the biggest congratulations on your accomplishment of completing your first advanced placement exam, which many of you will probably be taking several more over the course of high school. Not a small accomplishment whatsoever, so well done. Congrats. You guys deserve all the kudos in the world. I wish we were at school to celebrate. We would have had a big celebration. But unfortunately, this darn pandemic is continuing to keep us from being able to do so. However, just know that I'm very proud of you guys and very pleased with the progress you guys showed during this time of homeschooling, having to kind of really work on the stuff without a lot of guidance. So, speaking of the exam, there's been a number of questions I've received from students about it. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, I'm recording this video on Monday evening right now. It's Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day as well, by the way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the weekend and the heat and humidity that made us feel like we're on summer vacation already, which, by the way, is only 3 weeks away. Anyhow, so what'll happen is tomorrow, on Tuesday, I'm going to be getting in the afternoon an email from the College Board that's actually going to have all of your exams. What you guys submitted is going to be sent to me. Okay? And the College Board has decided to do that just so that we can kind of take a look at what you guys wrote. But what they've advised us to do and what I am not going to do, I will not be scoring your essays and telling you like, oh, Abby, I think you did really well. You earned a 7 out of 10 on the DBQ. That is not going to happen. I cannot do that. I will not do that because I don't know what the College Board's scoring standards are going to be. Nobody knows. The only people that are going to know those are the ones who actually score them in a couple of weeks when they start getting their electronic scoring guidelines. And I'm not going to be one of those readers. So it's been discussed a lot between teachers of AP World and on a lot of discussion boards, and even the College Board has advised us to not try and even give you guys any sort of specifics of what you might have gotten on it, because we just don't know what's going to qualify as acceptable outside evidence or what's going to be acceptable or not acceptable thesis or contextualization. Plus, there's 4 different prompts, and with the different prompts, there's different documents that went with them. So it would just create a massive confusion if I try and read your essay, score them, and give you any sort of idea of, I think you got this many points. Not to mention, we don't know what a cutoff is going to be. We don't know if a 4 out of 10 points is going to be a 3 on the exam, or if you're going to need to get 6 out of 10 points to get a 3 or a 4 or 5 on the exam. That is just not something that the College Board even knows yet until they've done the scoring and kind of set this algorithm type, system where they set the score cutoffs that way. So while I will be getting your exams tomorrow, I will get to see how you guys wrote. I will read them over for my own personal sort of, interest and just to kind of see how they all were written. Please don't ask me to try and predict what your score might be on the exam based on them. It's just not something I'm supposed to do, and it's not something I'm willing to do. So, just wanted to get that out there first, okay? So anyhow, we are post-exam now. So let's take a look here. You guys are into the easy breezy phase of my class now for the remaining 3 weeks. You only got 3 weeks of school left. So let's pop into the AP World History folder here. You can ignore anything that goes past the weekly folder for this week here, because this is where I moved all the review stuff, which you don't have to worry about. So just pop open the week 526 to 529 folder. You'll see there's very few things in there. Okay? You guys are only going to have to do 1 assignment for me each week for the remainder of the school year, and the assignments are going to be so easy, you're going to wonder why I'm even making you do them. I'm making you do them because I have to show that you're doing something for my class in order to continue justifying credit, even though the vast majority you've done almost every single assignment at this point. You will be getting credit for AP World History for second semester. There will be no final exam. I've had that question asked. You don't have to worry about that. So let's just quickly take a look at what kind of a week is going to look like the next couple of weeks. So when you open up the weekly sort of overview, it's really long. And the reason it's really long is because what I did is I typed up a long, and this might not be the most flowing thing. I typed this up sitting on my deck last week on Thursday, right off the top of my head. But basically, it's a flowing story that kind of sets the stage for what you guys need to be learning about this week. So I'm not going to read you this whole thing, but just it says here at the top, this is your first week of non-AP World Expectation Work. So you're only going to have 1 required assignment per week for the remaining 3 weeks of the school year. And each week what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one of the major themes or events of the 20th century. That's going to be World War I this week, World War II next week, and the Cold War during the final week of school. So what I'll be doing, I'm posting several optional video clips optional readings, and other resources that you should check out so you can learn the basics about each topic so that you understand them in your future classes. However, you're only going to be required to submit one assignment to me per week. And this week, it's like literally the simplest little 10-question quiz you could ever possibly do. It doesn't count as a quiz grade, but I just put it in as a quiz format, all multiple choice. So you have to make 10 multiple choice questions. You'll have to answer them. Okay? So basically, the idea is here, we're going to study this week World War I. And I kind of typed up, like I said, a brief summary here of how World War I sort of begins. And I wrote up a little overview of what historians have agreed are the causes of World War I. And they use this acronym MAIN, the main causes of World War I. And you'll see this stuff in the videos as well. But I broke them down, each one here briefly. Like militarism, there was this building up of militarism in the years leading up to World War I. The A is the system of alliances that have been formed. The I was the notion of imperialism and how that created competition between those countries of Europe that were trying to get bigger empires and more colonies. And the N stood for nationalism. So MAIN is kind of the causes of the war. And then once the war does begin, it's going to last for 4 years. And what we're going to see here is during the war itself, the Western Front, meaning the fighting that takes place mainly along the western part of Europe, mostly between Germany versus France and Britain, it gets bogged in this stalemate where nobody's winning, nobody's losing. That's just a series of trenches. Tens of thousands of miles of trenches as they fight in trench warfare back and forth. However, the Russian losses on the Eastern Front, Russia was also fighting in this war. This becomes a major factor in what's called the Russian Revolution that takes place in 1917. And that Russian Revolution that happens during World War I is going to bring about the first communist nation that we call the Soviet Union. It's going to play into the story of what happens in the rest of the 20th century. So an armistice is going to be signed in November of 1918, ending World War I. But the ensuing treaty, what's known as the Treaty of Versailles, is going to be very poorly thought out, and it's going to lead to the rise of fascism in both Italy and Germany during the 1920s and 1930s. That kind of sets us up for World War II. So, again, you can read all this over yourself. This is, kind of my quick little summary narrative of the beginning and how the war starts. Your tasks for the week, I've given you 3 things that you can do. I posted a set of World War I notes. It's a full set of notes that goes through all the major events related to World War I. Now, we would have done these in class, taking the notes, but since we're not in class, you can just kind of look them over and follow along with the story of what happens. Kind of a good summary of it. Okay? Then there's 2 World War I videos. They're called Oversimplified. They're about 10 minutes each. Video number 1 and video 2 are right here. They kind of take you through the whole thing. And then lastly, complete the World War I notes quiz. And this is the only required task you have to turn in to me. Okay, all 10 of the questions come directly from the notes. These notes up here that I'll show you where you get them in a second, that's where you can find all 10 answers if you don't know what they are as you simply start going through them. All your quizzes have to be submitted in Schoology no later than 11:59 next Sunday, which is May 31st. And again, the quiz itself will not take you guys long at all. It's super easy. So if we hop back in the folder for the week here, you'll see we got, here are the World War I notes. If you open them up, it's a PDF. You'll see, it's a fairly long PowerPoint file, or slides anyhow, about quite a few slides, that essentially takes you through, and you'll see as I'm not going to go through it, obviously, but it goes through the story of the Great War. And you can ignore the red and blue highlighting. That would have been stuff you guys would have been writing down and highlighting and stuff like that, but it takes you through with a lot of maps and pictures and about the alliances and all these other things that happened during the course of the war. So you definitely want to start off by kind of looking this stuff over. It'll be helpful to kind of set up the story of World War I. And then when you go back in the folder here, you got the 2 videos, Oversimplified Part 1 and Part 2. And then again, the notes quiz, it's so basic. You open it up here, you'll see, you'll actually start a question, but it'll be, the build environment is preparation for is known as, and you got to pick A, B, C, or D. And there's only 10 questions. You'll simply submit it when you're done. And that's it. That's the entire remaining part of the week here. So you have basically 1 thing to turn into me and a few videos to watch, and it's all about just, kind of getting a little bit of knowledge on World War I, because you guys will need to know about that in U.S. history and just for future classes as well. So feel free to ask me any questions you have as you guys start going through this stuff. If not, take it easy, relax a little bit this week. At least you can ease off the AP World History work. And, let me know if you have any questions about anything else. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.